Well, good morning, good people. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. Man, I'm down here in the country. I'm going to finish up today, hopefully by noon, and get back to the man cave because we got a lot of work to do there too. My my life stays busy, and I mean it stays busy. But if you enjoy like home repair or old houses or woodworking and things, and have questions and stuff like that, check out my other channel, Joe Boo's Day Job, because over there I've got full videos that are speeded up where we literally ripped off part of a 200-year-old house and rebuilt it in 3 days. 3 days. Well, today's the fourth day. We'll go ahead and get the sheathing on the roof and get it tar papered in, but 3 days so far. This is the fourth. So, we have some good news, at least, and I think this is going to end up being great news for the Dallas Cowboys for this season. The most misaligned player in the NFL has to be Dak Prescott. Only Dak Prescott can have the number one scoring offense, go 12-5, and be considered a garbage-ass quarterback that needs to be replaced. And as they say, it's a very, important year for Dak Prescott, as opposed to Jalen Hurts, who they've already said, you got to put up or shut up. But be that as it may, Dak is working out with John Beck, quarterback coach, that he's worked with before. And here's the great thing for Dak. The fact that Dak had the season that he had with the multitude of injuries, people always talk about, oh, that quarterback, man, he's got a strong arm. The arm is a big part of it. You have to have arm for the accuracy and everything else and the strength. But it's not the be-all, because if it were the be-all, it would just be, this is the only thing you would do. This would be the only motion that you have when you throw. And that's not the case. It is your whole body and its mechanics. The difference of having your foot placed 3 inches one way or the other can be the difference of the ball being perfectly thrown and a ball that's high that gets tipped. Mechanics are key when you're talking about actually anything. If you're a baseball pitcher, if you're a shot putter or a discus thrower, because ultimately, to get the most velocity, to be able to get the most accuracy and stuff, you have to have muscle memory where you are used to doing the exact same motion over and over again. The second part is getting your body together to be able to make that throw. And see, again, you throw with your legs as much as you do with your arm. It's about, like if you do golf, you got your baseball grip. It's about getting that whole shoulder leading through, pulling the club, and whipping your hips. It's the same thing when you throw a football. And throwing a football, it's a good size in there. And to get that spin, to get that velocity, and to get it where you want to, you've got to have your feet planted, and you've got to be able to twist your hips. You've got to be able to pull your shoulders to stretch your pec muscles so they can recoil so you follow through. That's the only way that you're going to get a great throw. Trust me. Believe me. It's the truth. I wouldn't lie to you. And last year, coming back from the ankle injury, first thing when you have an injury like that, you're always worried about, is it going to snap? Is it going to go? So in the back of your mind, you're always thinking as you put on there, and you favor the other leg. Trust me, I know. I tore my ACL in high school. And 3 weeks later, I was playing football again with no ACL in my knee. They just cleaned it up because they didn't really have the way of rebuilding it at that time. That wasn't cutting your knee wide open and splitting it and, wait a year and a half and maybe you might be able to walk again. So you end up favoring the other parts. And when you start favoring something else, it shifts everything. Your mechanics, your body lean, and all that, and it causes other issues elsewhere, which I think is what led to the calf injury. Now you've got a calf injury, you've got an ankle that hasn't come through, and you got another shoulder that's sore. You are relying now basically on your arm, and that's where you can't get the same velocity. Too many times last year when I was watching Dak throw, when he would run outside the pocket, you'd see him kind of getting up off the ground and throwing. Because to me, it was like he was worried about tearing that calf or not being able to have the power to do it. So he was making it with his arm. Now, getting back with John Beck is going to help him get back to the mechanics. And see, this is the thing that people don't seem to take in consideration. Last offseason, Dak Prescott was not cleared for OTAs. Dak Prescott, you remember, hurt his shoulder in training camp and was on a pitch count when he was finally able to throw. Did not play in preseason games. So when you start thinking about him working with a guy like CeeDee Lamb or Cedric Wilson, and you can see sometimes with Cedric Wilson, Dak is throwing to one shoulder, Cedric is turning to the other. That may sound, like not a big deal, but it actually is a big deal because if you're looking for the ball here and the ball's over there, now you've got to turn the whole other way. And it's those workings together that the Cowboys didn't have last year that make all the difference in the world. And it being an incompletion or interception or a big play and a touchdown. So getting John back together with Dak having an offseason where he got his other shoulder taken care of early in the offseason. His ankle is completely healed. The calf is fine. He is now stronger than he was. He's leaner. He's going to be able to get back to the fundamentals, the basics, as well as the mechanics on everything. And more key than anything else, this is the first offseason that Dak's really been able to work with CeeDee Lamb. Because when CD was drafted, it was during the COVID year. And during that COVID year, remember, no preseason games, shortened training camp, and Dak was injured week 5. So they didn't have time to work together then. Enter last offseason, again, going back through, Dak recovering from the ankle, Dak out with the shoulder on a pitch count. They have yet to get together to really become a great team. Now, let's go through, before I get ready to go back over here to work. It's going to get hot today, too. So I want to get this work done and out of here. Let's go through and listen to the talking heads.
Dave, you're saying rehabbing. He's been doing developmental stuff. He's been there and available, working with his team. Got CeeDee Lamb on the outside. Zeke Elliott. I've been hearing good reports about Tony Pollard maybe playing in the slot a little bit, catch passes, to complement that duo. I just like what the Cowboys are doing. I think this team is better positioned this year to win it than they were last year. I think that's a scary thought based on what we saw from Rivers. Slick was mad at that from the beginning. Oh, man. Oh, Bucky.
No. Not mad. Not mad.
Not mad?
Not mad?
Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, I will get it in. I'm going to tell you right now, Bucky up here campaigning for these Cowboys. I'm in support of the Cowboys, but not as much as Bucky Brooks. He wants to make America's team great again. I hear you. But at the same time, we're looking at the Dallas Cowboys, who will be better next year. Y'all got to really distill this question to what it really is asking, which is basically, can the Dallas Cowboys win a playoff game?
Oh, here we go.
Last year they win 12 games. That's a great record in the NFL, 12-5. But then they lose their playoff game. So the real question is, can they win a playoff game? Not a single person alive is going to sit there and swear that the Dallas Cowboys, with all of this talent, with Dak Prescott at quarterback, can't win a playoff game. As a matter of fact, in the playoff game they lost, which they were getting spanked, they were one play away in a questionable call from actually winning that playoff game. So I look at the Dallas Cowboys, number one offense in the NFL. You talk about all the talent that they have on that side of the ball, and I think they got rid of some dead weight, not only mentally, but physically.
Dead weight.
No more disguising as a number one receiver, Amari Cooper. You got to go, brother. Make room for CeeDee Lamb and his blossoming in his role. Also, whatever happened last year, I think the Dallas Cowboys staff went back into their meeting rooms and said, look, we saw Ezekiel Elliott supposedly fully motivated last year. Oh, we're going to see him fully motivated this year because Tony Pollard is not playing games. So in terms of the touches, in terms of the support that Dak Prescott's going to have, it's going to be even greater. And most importantly, Dak Prescott gets to focus on not only his entire body, but his entire game versus last offseason. All he could do is focus in on his one leg in rehab. All of that adds up to a better season. All that adds up to a playoff run for these Dallas Cowboys.
Wow.
Marcellus, could you start out by saying that you didn't support the Cowboys as strongly as Bucky?
Not as strong as but Rick's got to win a
Did you
Super Bowl.
actually start out that way? Because what I heard was a campaign that was much stronger than what Bucky had coming out of the gate.
It did sound pretty strong.
You guys are forcing me to
Too strong.
Look, I don't know that you guys ever had a training plan where you did either gassers or one or twos as the first thing out of the gate for practice. But that's what you're putting on me for this show. We couldn't have put the Cowboys back in the B or the C block just so I could get warmed up a little bit. I got to go 1-on-2 with this right away. Because look, here's the bottom line. You're never going to go wrong by expecting the Cowboys to disappoint whatever expectations you have.
Here we go.
That has been proven over the years. And in spite of the fact that they have one of the easiest schedules in the NFL this year, the odds makers have them winning fewer games than they did last year.
Sucker
The
bet.
over-under is at 10. They won 12 last year, and looking at their schedule,
Oh,
they should be.
nobody has an over or under of
Even
12.
if they lose to
Sorry.
all of the quality teams, the way that it's structured, the time off that they have, how easy it is on the back end. If they can't get to 12 wins, there's something seriously wrong with these Cowboys. Now, they didn't have a great offseason, and I will say there are parts, Micah Parsons being at the front of the line, CeeDee Lamb being another, where I am hoping and expecting that these guys are going to take another step forward. But I can't ignore the pieces that they've lost. Amari Cooper is dead weight. You want to have that conversation with Dak Prescott? Because dead weight and a crutch are not the same thing. And I would say it's rather the latter than the former when it comes to Dak Prescott. So I need to see Dak Prescott be at his best without Amari Cooper by his side. But in any case, this idea that they're going to be better when they lost the pieces that they lost, I assume you're counting on the schedule to make them better, because as a team, I can't possibly make that one.
See, Rick, I don't think Rick must not spend a lot of time in the garden. He doesn't have a green thumb like I do. Rick's landscaping over here. We like to get in the yard and kind of sometimes you got to prune the trees. Sometimes you got to do some things to make sure you let that new growth come. So some of this is due to addition by subtraction. What do I mean by that? You had to let Amari Cooper go so CeeDee Lamb can fully blossom. You had to get those guys off the offensive line, Connor Williams, Leo Collins, so this offensive line can be better, because as much as we talk about Dak Prescott being able to throw it to the perimeter, he can't throw it if he's on his back. And in the last couple of years, we've seen too many leaks up front, not enough physicality in their team. Defensively, another year in Dan Quinn's system, Trayvon Diggs being able to settle in. We saw what he did last year. Look, he was a bit of a double agent. He had a lot of interceptions, but he gave up big plays. Now you understand what is being asked. He's a premier corner. Now he takes better care of, not allowing the ball to fly over his head. I just think this team is better because the pieces are better, because they've been able to blossom. I look for the Cowboys to do big things now. My man Marcellus is going to...
Okay, enough of that. But here's an interesting thing. See, this is one of those things that they do. My man said, oh, well, the odds makers think they're going to win less games than last year because they won 12 last year. The odds makers have them winning less. Yes, they do. But see, here's where nobody has an over or under of 12. Nobody has an over and under 12. The best two over and unders are 11.5 for the Bills and the Buccaneers. The Packers at 11, the Chiefs at 10.5, Rams at 10.5, Super Bowl winners. And then you've got Cowboys, 49ers, Broncos, Bengals, Chargers, and Colts at an over or under of 10. See, this is the kind of bull crap that they do to try and get you. Oh, see, look at that. Vegas says they're going to win. Listen, Vegas's job is to get you to bet, get half of the people to bet on one side of the thing, and to bet the other half to bet on the other side of it, because then that way they win. If they were to say the over and under for the Cowboys is 12, everybody's going to take 12. And guess what? If they end up going over, Vegas would lose their ass. So they set the numbers where it's realistic that it could go either way. Now, let's be clear. On average, the NFC East winner, and I need to go back through and recalculate this, because Washington last year winning 7 games and 7 the year before may have skewed it a little bit closer. Nobody has won more games the next year over the course of the last 20, and I need to redo the numbers, has won more games after winning the division. On average, they actually lose about 3.1 games more the next year, historically. So that would technically put the Cowboys at 9 wins. But I think the Cowboys may be better suited to do better than 9 wins. We'll have to wait and see how it works out. But anyway, I got to get my stuff, finish packing up everything, get the truck loaded up so we can go hit the work and try and get this shit done and get our ass home. I'm Mark Holmes, and of course with Michael Anthony Fitness Reaction Gig Economy. We'll see y'all later. Peace.